The Prime Minister is under pressure over the NHS and strikes. Rishi Sunak's spokesperson has given an update to journalists, the first since the holidays. Let's speak to our political correspondent, Liz Bates, who's in Downing Street. Liz, before we get to NHS and strikes, there's breaking news on pre-departure COVID tests from people flying in from China.
Yes, well, we did have some of this information a few days ago, but we've really had confirmation of it today from Number 10. The issue is, though, so first of all, I should tell you what it is. It is people travelling from China into the UK will be asked to do a COVID test pre-departure, and if they test positive, they will not be allowed on a flight to the UK. Now, we've known that for a few days, but we wanted a bit more detail from Number 10, given that it's coming in January the 5th, and they certainly need to get on with it because that's in 2 days' time, but we haven't had confirmation yet on a few details within this plan. So what is still unclear is connecting flights, so people travelling from China via another country into the UK, will they be asked for these tests as well? People from Hong Kong, we're still unsure about that. There's a slight anomaly as well when it comes to people who arrive in the UK. So you get on a test, you've had a pre-departure negative COVID test. When you arrive in the UK, you are then asked if you would like to do a COVID test, and only a small sample of people will be asked to do that, and they can refuse to do that. The government says this is all part of a plan that is about being sensible and cautious, and really this is just about the lack of data coming out of China, not any real risks of any new variants of concern. So that is what we currently know about that issue of COVID testing. When it comes to NHS pressures, obviously the Prime Minister is really been asked a lot of questions about that and Number 10, because we've had so many stories about these terrible waiting times and people being treated in hospital corridors. Well, what the government is saying today is, first of all, that this is due to the COVID backlog. They were always expecting this to be a difficult winter. The first week of January is always very difficult as well. What's quite interesting about this, though, is the Prime Minister certainly seems to be almost staying away from this issue. We understand, first of all, this week there's no public events in the diary. He's not going to be visiting a hospital despite the pressures on staff and on patients. We haven't had anything publicly confirmed that the Health Secretary is doing anything this week either. So maybe slightly surprising. I think the general feeling as well is that Number 10 and the Department of Health may be taking the approach of waiting these pressures out, if you like. There's no expectation of any more big announcements on funding. They will certainly go ahead with previous funding announcements, and they want to see reform, of course, and they're very thankful to all the staff, they say, working through these winter pressures. But apart from that, we're not expecting any big announcements, and it seems like the Prime Minister certainly is going to be staying indoors this week when he's working at Number 10.
OK, Liz, thank you.